That's a good thing, right?
I mean, no scouts have ever come back alive to tell us.
Oh. Ow! Still giving us the crappy missions, huh?
Dark, dirty, dangerous. I'm beginning to like this war.
Liking war, huh? Jack's adopting a jingoist philosophy? But then again, I guess it's easier to like a war where you don't have to kill your fellow man. Instead, you're fighting robots, and I can only assume metalheads are aliens. I don't know where the hell they actually come from. Someone on YouTube theorized that the metalheads are either from a different planet dimension or both different planet and a different dimension, and that Core went through multiple rift gates to try and find the last trace of the precursors, which they had been battling for eons. And they just happened to open the final rift gate, which was the one that Jack and company came through when they were in Sandover Village when they first came here in Jak 2. Which I think is a decent explanation for it, because it's like, where else did they come from? We would have known about them, and Jak and Daxter I could only assume.
I got a bad feeling about today. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
Or unless it was like eggs were laying dormant on this planet for 1,000,000 years or some shit, and then someone uncovered the thing that was like keeping them dormant, and they woke up, and that's where Core came from. Which, I don't know, maybe that's a better explanation, and they just came in from a different time, and that the Rift Gate is exclusively time travel and not dimensional travel. But the real answer is, Naughty Dog did not think of it yet. And they had to shoehorn them in as the new enemy, because lurkers aren't intimidating enough. They really aren't. I rarely ever felt threatened in Jak and Daxter. And metalheads are actually scary. That's the difference. But how is Jak Marr? You know, I think there was possibly an idea of elaborating on that in the future, but here's what I subscribe to. I think Jak's uncle was actually Marr, in that Jak is Marr. Jak is Little Marr from Jak 2, that's his name. He's not the actual Marr. He just got named after the actual Marr, and I think the actual Marr is Jak's uncle from Jak and Daxter. Because if you think about it, they're adventurer. He's an old guy. And then if you look at Marr's statue and you look at Jak's uncle's head, their head is like very similarly structured. Like their skull is like the same skull, pretty much. So yeah. I mean, there's a possibility that Jack's uncle is Jack as an old man. Who knows? They have the same hair color. I honestly don't really know if I like the idea of Jack being Mar. I also don't like the idea of how they play the precursors in this game. It's just like, really? That's the best you could come up with? You play this whole fucking thing off like a joke? The idea of precursors being these beings of light, I think, is the way better way to go. Because like, if they're that strong, then why would they need physical bodies? They transcended the corporeal realm. If they're able to actually go across dimensions at will and create planets like they've supposedly been said to do in the first two games, making them furry creatures was a really stupid idea. Yeah, let's just forget about the fact that the precursor stone was a thing, and it was the final precursor egg surviving in that timeline, and that the actual precursor came out of the fucking stone at the end of Jak 2. Let's just completely forget about that. Yeah. It's really a shame, because like there's whispers about a reboot. If they do anything to the story, that is the thing they need to remedy before anything else. Shit. Behind it. I have no choice but to think that Jak is Mar because they say it in the game, but if you like retcon everything that happens in this game, I think Jak's uncle is Mar, personally. They look too similar for it not to be the case. And the statues of Mar don't look like Jak at all, but they do look like him. That's the big thing of like, maybe gameplay-wise, Jak 2 isn't my favorite game, but just like this whole package, like the aesthetics, the story, the atmosphere, it like all combines and makes my favorite like gaming experience. Even though it is extremely unfair at times. I don't know, it just nailed it. The environments are cooler. The story is just way better written. Maybe you can argue like this game's more fun in general, but this game like it lacks so much of the stuff that Jak 2 got right. Okay, I'm gonna time this right this time. I'm not gonna rush it. Well, I said I was gonna time it right, not rush it, but I fucking didn't time it right. Look at that. If only they'd just give me my wings right now. I don't know, but a Mars Legacy game would be appreciated, so we finally like see what that prequel looked like. Well, I guess technically that wouldn't really be a prequel; it would be a sequel to a direct sequel to Jak and Daxter. That's between Jak and Daxter and Jak 2. Yeah, Jak 2 has a perfect beginning, middle, and end. Like, there's no problem with the flow of the story. There's clear-cut things. Baron Praxis needs to be destroyed by Jak's hands. Goes on. They start talking about the Tomb of Mar and the Precursor Stone and how they need to get their hands on it. The rush for the tomb. And then, like, one of my favorite aspects of Jak 2 is the tying in of the first time you go to the Mountain Temple, those items that you get. There's a reason you get them, because then you end up getting the seal, the pieces of the seal, opening the canyon, and then you put those pieces that you found originally in the machines to then open the tomb. And then you go to the tomb and you're like, whoa, this is cool. You find the Precursor Stone. There you go. There it is. It's in there. You lose the Precursor Stone, and then you fight your way to try and get it back. And then you get to the end of the game. Find out this is a Precursor egg. And Core has been keeping an eye on young Jak the entire time because he still has the pure gift of channeling Eco that Jak lost by getting darkified, I guess. Dark Jak abilities are what changed him to not be able to do it anymore. And it's just like, hey, look, no, this is you. And then it all comes full circle. And then you send you to the past that you grew up in. Perfect. You finally get more of an explanation of what the Precursors are. You actually see one be born in front of your eyes. And then they're like, nah, we don't want to pursue that story point. Let's make them these orange things with fur. And I remember there's like some interview with someone in Naughty Dog, one of the developers, talking about how they made that decision, and then someone in their production was like, are you sure you want to do this? And he was like, yeah, and then he gave it to someone else in the company, and they're like, this is genius. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're a fucking idiot. I'm glad it hit me, because I would have just died right there. Well, I'm probably going to end up dying here. Health, please. Of course not. Health and/or checkpoint. No hidden rooms back here? No! Oh yeah, I forget. Cool. With the Dark Jak less damage taken thing, that really just helped me. Health! How about that? And some light eco to heal myself. Cool.